To school season across the country, and students are not the only ones feeling anxious. I spoke to a local therapist about advice for parents sending their kids back to the classroom.
Back to school time can be stressful for kids, but also parents. Psychotherapist Mike Harris says trying to juggle schedules for parents is overwhelming.
So I think that parents, they get overwhelmed because as much as they wanted the school year to start, they still have to get organized and they have to figure out, okay, how are we going to coordinate our schedules? How are we going to, make everything come together logistically in a way that really makes sense? And that can be really overwhelming. It's a lot to coordinate and it can be really stressful. So I think that parents really need to stop and figure out how they can organize and not wait until the last minute.
And even though this can be a busy time, Harris says make sure you're staying on top of your kids' social media activity.
We want to make sure that there are content filters, that there are different strategies in the home to be set up so kids can't access certain things, because sometimes it's just too much information for their brains, right? It's just too much, too fast, too early. So we want to make sure that we're filtering. But also we want to give kids the opportunity to be exposed to things, and we want to be present so we can have those conversations and explain, because if they get curious about something, they are going to want to know. They're going to ask Google, they're going to ask their friends, they're going to ask someone. And so we want to make sure that we're there to put some of that information into context.
Harris also says not to push aside your child's concerns or emotions.
Sometimes parents want to ignore or push away what their child is feeling. It's okay, don't worry about it, you'll be okay. And so we want to be able to ask them what they're feeling with open-ended questions. What are you feeling? Tell me about how you're feeling about the first day of school or your experience with this particular child in your classroom or whatever it is.
Harris says certain breathing techniques can really help if your child is dealing with anxiety.
The other thing is that sometimes parents, if they have children that have anxiety, they have some anxiety themselves, and their anxiety starts to ramp up at the beginning of the year. There are different expectations and a lot to balance. And so parents need to tap into what they need and support themselves so they can support their family and their children better as well.
And while it's important to be there as a parent as your child ages, you also need to give them space to grow into an adult and make mistakes.
I really understand the importance of setting a good foundation when they're younger so they can be more independent at those older ages, but sometimes parents don't do that. So there is this reality of parents really stepping in. We need to really encourage kids to be independent and give them opportunities to be successful, but not only be successful, to fail before it really matters and really has an impact.